Now with us is Ambassador Mohamed Hegazy, a former Egyptian Assistant Foreign Minister, to explore how the Israel and Iran tensions intersect with US politics and Middle Eastern diplomacy. Welcome, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. How do you view the timing of Israel's strike on Iran's air defenses in relation to perhaps the upcoming US elections? Could it be a calculated move to try and influence American politics, perhaps?
Well, I think we were all expecting this Israeli attack. Fortunately, it came in the framework that has been designed by the American administration, not to target the energy sources and installations, not to target the Iranian nuclear facilities, so that they confine their attack to the military bases, and what is truly was the sign that there is, in spite of the escalation, to me, there is a calculated hope that the Iranians were in a position to observe the attack and its effect on its military bases, and through maybe a restrained mood, we can pass the very dangerous moments that we lived within the Israeli-Iranian confrontation. And the case in front of us is very clear. The United States, 10 days before elections, wouldn't like to see a huge war and escalation in the confrontation between Israel and Iran. The decision of war or waging war on Iran is an American decision, not an Israeli decision. So Israel may retaliate to the second wave of rockets attack from Iran, and this calculated response will pave the way, to me, to more calm in this front. And I think now we have to wrap up. We have to wrap up situation in southern Lebanon, in Gaza, and in relations to this attack. I think the Iranian will be wise enough not to go into a tic-tac or another escalation of violence. The position now of the two parties is that we have to concentrate on regional solution and security, and this was the message of the Iranian foreign minister tour in the region, where I think Iran will be very careful in any response in order not to drag the Israelis to much more retaliation, and maybe the escalation that might lead the United States troops in the region to join hands with Israel. Iran for long was quite aware of the Israeli trials for many years, like 25 years, since the presence of 2004 of Benjamin Netanyahu in the office. He was always trying to drag the United States into full confrontation with Iran. Attacking the nuclear facilities, there is 17 positions of the program in Iran, and I don't think that Israel, showing their attack yesterday, are able to do that without the help of the United States, who will avoid two things. It has cautioned the Israeli attack on energy facilities in Iran, and second, the Israeli attack on the nuclear facilities in Iran that needs full support from the United States, because Israel has shown yesterday that it doesn't have the strength or the enough power to attack without the United States, who believe that a war in the Middle East will not help anyone, or a war between Iran and Israel will help no one in the coming few days before election. And I think both sides now have understood that the Iranians have taken their revenge, and the Israelis have retaliated, and full stop. I think this American full stop is very important.
Now, of course, things could change quite significantly. We have the elections coming up, as we mentioned, and it's either going to be one of two people in the White House in January. It's either going to be Kamala Harris or it's going to be Donald Trump returning for a second time. Do you believe that Netanyahu's approach towards Iran might be shaped by one or other of the administrations, and how might those two administrations be different?
Well, I think the attack by Israel last hour this morning is a calculated attack designed by the United States, and that shows you that the three fronts, being it Gaza or Hezbollah, southern Lebanon, or Iran, is design, American design by excellence, and Israel is just the contractor, the war contractor that is doing the action within the range and framework and calculation of the United States. So the attack on Iran was well designed and calculated within what the United States can live with. They cannot live as well as the world community to an attack on the energy installations in Iran, causing a huge damage to the stability, the Iranian flow of energy resources, being it petroleum or gas. And this is exactly what the West cannot carry during the months of the winter that has entered already, or during the course of the Ukrainian-Russian war that have cut a lot of the energy resources from international market. The second is that attacking the Iranian 17 nuclear facilities will not be helpful, but will not be within the range of the Israelis. What have happened this morning, or the Israeli attack, is within the range that the American administration accepts and the Israelis are capable of doing, reaching to Iran, attacking military installation, and that's it. More than that will lead us to a new administration. And I think it is mark the time of wrapping up, the situation, the escalation between Israel and Iran. And I think the Iranians are wise enough not to further attack the Israelis to the extent that the Israelis might retaliate in a way that the Iranians might face a situation that they have and their arms in the region attack Israel from within, where the United States will be pulled to action. I think the Iranian leadership is looking more to the stability of the region, and the time of wrapping up between Israel and the Iranian has come, and I think we will stop at this stage. Israel is taking the revenge, and Iranians have already done what is necessary to retaliate from the Israelis' previous attacks. Now, the situation in southern Lebanon is ready for wrapping up. Everybody is talking and agreeing on the implementation of 1701, the UN Security Council resolution, through which the two parties have abstained from implementation since 2006, and now time has come for the two parties to seek its implementation, and seeing in it the opportunity to have pulled the situation from Gaza to southern Lebanon, believing that this is an easy ride, particularly after the killing of their general leadership, or the Hassan Nasrallah, and the top leaders, the Secretary General and the top leaders of Hezbollah. Failing in their calculation, they saw resistance and return of Hezbollah to its power, to its ability of hurting Israel to the extent that we now seeing the fight going into Israel for the first time, Mark, after 1948, since the establishment of the State of Israel, that war is waged within and inside Israeli cities, including the attacks we saw on the military base, very well calculated, and even the attack on Benjamin Netanyahu premises. So Hezbollah hasn't lost the war, so that Israel, when they claim to implement 1701 modified, they have received a refusal, a rejection from the Lebanese talking on behalf of Hezbollah and President Prime Minister Mikati and Mr. Gumblat, the Lebanese leader. So the three Lebanese presidents have utterly rejected the Israeli trial of amending 1701, and they informed Hochstein, the American envoy, that this is not possible. And I think Israel at the final end, so we wrap up here that the 1701 gives a solution where the Hezbollah troops will be pulled out of the task to the northern Litani borders and the blue line between southern Litani River and the blue line will be a terrain for the national Lebanese army supported by the UN forces UNIFIL.
And now, of course, you did mention that this particular Israeli attack on the Iranian military facilities was the architects of this was the United States. So what might this mean for Israeli and United States and Iranian relations? Of course, we've had the stalled nuclear negotiations. What does that mean for the US-Iran relations?
You know, I think the Iranians, deep inside, appreciate what the United States did to curb on the Israeli ambition to attack facilities randomly in Iran, including energy and the nuclear facilities. I think what the United States have done was wise. They know, even the Iranians, they knew that the Israelis will attack them. The nature of this attack, if it is left to the right-wingers in Israel, they will go to a larger scale where they will drag in, if Iran retaliated, the United States into confronting Iran. I think President Biden clearly informed Benjamin Netanyahu in one of their very known calls that war with Iran is an American decision. It is not an Israeli decision. So the Americans knows very well the danger of attacking energy resources, gas or oil in Iran, or attacking the nuclear facilities, where it will definitely call for a huge Iranian response, as well as Hezbollah and many other supporters of Iran in the region. Even it will put the American troops and bases to a great danger. So I think Iranian relations with the United States will remain, and the Americans appreciate the importance of the Iranian oil flows to the international market, including to the United States, that consumes 22 million barrels of oil. Only 1/3 of it covered by the United States production, and the rest are coming from many markets, particularly the Iranian market or the Iranian supply. So I think the relations with the United States will go on, and maybe in the new administrative or the newcomers in the White House, they should look at the 5+1 nuclear agreement and move further. When I spoke to you, Mark, about wrapping up in Iran-Israeli relations, now you culminate by addressing the American-Iranian relations, and I identified that these relations will go and will pass this critical moment, understanding that it is the United States that has put the refrain or has put the stoppage required for the Israeli attacks on Iran, limiting it to the border where the Iranian can live with. And I think this is the qualification of what's happened since the morning. The third wrap-up that I wanted to make before we ended the wrap-up, we spoke about Iran-Israel U.S. Issue. We spoke about Hezbollah, Israeli. Mark, can you put down the noise next to you? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So back again. Okay. So back. Okay. Thank you. Back again to Hezbollah 1701 UN Security Council resolution being implemented without amendments, and if any further amendments required by Israel, it will be given to the Lebanese army and to the agenda of the UNIFIL, not to the Israelis. The third wrap-up that we should make to complete the three confrontations that is going on Iran, Israel, Hezbollah, Israel, and southern Lebanon, and the Gaza situation. I think in the past few days, as you may have followed, an important delegation from Hamas was in Cairo for important talks with high officials. A week before, the chief of Mossad, the Israeli intelligence service, as well as the Shabak, the internal security chief, was in Cairo. And I think we all, after the visit of Secretary of State Blinken and the meeting he held in different capitals in the region, and his meeting with foreign ministers in London, shows that or explain that there is a proposition, maybe promoted by Egypt, where they call for a shorter period ceasefire in which a limited exchange of prisoners and hostages that will allow urgent humanitarian assistance to flow without Israeli confronting or obstacling them. Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati yesterday spoke to Blinken for a very long session where they have discussed not only Gaza and the urgency it requires to put an end to the Israeli carnage in Gaza, and particularly in northern parts of Gaza, and in especially in the camp of Jabalia, where war crimes are committed in front of us on camera. And I'm sure that the Israelis and their supporters should watch out, because the International Court of Justice will issue its ruling on the Israeli ethnic cleansing and genocide activities, as well as the International Criminal Court issuing the stoppage for criminal activities of both Netanyahu and his Minister of Defense, among many others, I believe, not only in Israel, but those who have supported Israel to the extent that they have exercised this very inhumane campaign that has been described as a betrayal of humanity.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. Ambassador Hegazy, who is joining us there, and thank you so much for your valuable analysis on these geopolitical implications. Thank you very much.